Hello, everyone, and good morning. So, I just was inspired to share a little bit, and what I wanted to share on is a lot of things that I noticed and I see and I have done myself when one is on a spiritual path, a path of self development, is that we are always trying to strive to cultivate these certain characteristics, or we have these ideas about how enlightenment acts, how consciousness acts, that you have to project a certain image or project, certain behaviors and characteristics before you can declare yourself as the divine. However, all that's going to do is set yourself up for, I guess, an extended period of seeking and searching and chasing. And the key is to this is that you have to already declare that you are the divine. You already have to declare that you are the perfection of the universe as you are now, as you are in this moment, no matter how you think you should no matter how you think the divine should act, be, look, and all those things, because all those are just projections of the ego, because the ego is also on a spiritual journey too. The ego is also, kind of riding along with this, but the thing is that the ego has a limited perspective. The ego functions in a particular way. The ego is always trying to live in anticipation. The ego is very limited in, I guess it's very limited in the sense that it has expectations. It has expectations, and also when it doesn't think that you are living up to those expectations, it can get really kind of cruel and nasty and put you in the position of defeat. And so you have all these things, and you just kind of get spun out, and you just kind of just exhaust yourself. And but at the same time, when you do get to that point, and you do get to the point where you exhaust yourself and the ego gets exhausted by the spiritual journey, it's actually at that point where that the characteristics and the divine within you unfolds. But as my intent is that I don't want people to go through that, because it's very unpleasant, and I don't want people to have to experience their journey in that way. So, the key is to always see yourself as the divine. And the best way that I can put it as to how this works is like, you take somebody who maybe have like a really low sense of who they are, very negative projections that they impose upon themselves. And, you keep calling yourself, I'm a loser, or, I'm a this and I'm a that. And if you notice that they are perfectionists and carrying that out, if you say that I'm a low life, that person usually acts in such a way because that person really is not realizing how much of a co-creator that they are within their lives. And you are attracting situations, and because you already have it set in your mind, you say, okay, I'm a loser and I'm a low life, and you believe that, and you're totally just, you're just totally, entrenched in that belief. And so what's going to happen is that the only things that you're going to see in your life are the things that are going to reinforce that belief. So if you say that I'm a low life and you get fired from your job, then it's going to be like, see, I told you that I'm a low life. I told you that I was unworthy. I knew it, and this is the proof that this is what I am. And the thing is that that's the only thing that it's going to see. It's going to overlook all the other things that are going to show you the divine that you are. And that's the thing that's it. It's so funny when you realize that. But the key is, and I understand in a lot of ways that, you get very entrenched in these kind of linear ways of seeing yourself. It's a form of self-imprisonment. The judgments that we hold against ourselves, the projections that we hold against ourselves and others are really just, confined, and they're confinements that we box ourselves in, but we don't realize that we are boxing ourselves in because of the messages that get sent to us from very early on, from a very broken paradigm that we're in. So, like I said, my intent is to try to help others not go through this journey, and to remind you of who you are as the divine, and to always declare yourself as the divine as you are. So when you declare yourself as the divine, and you believe that in the moment now, and it becomes something that you cultivate within yourself, then you will see the reflections of that within yourself and in your life, because that's kind of part of how this game goes. So I just hope maybe that helps some people out. Maybe that clarifies some, maybe some pitfalls that people fall into on the spiritual journey. And because we are imposing these kind of, because the divine masquerades as, the divine masquerades as so many things. It masquerades as diversity. So you can't really limit the divine. You can't really limit to the divine to, one thing or a handful of things, because it's masquerading as all of us. But the thing is that it's funny, but when you start declaring yourself as a child of the divine, you start declaring yourself as the perfection of the universe, it kind of softens you up. The thing is that you don't impose these expectations on how you think that's going to be. You just kind of let it unfold naturally within yourself. Because anytime you impose judgments, assumptions, and expectations, you're keeping yourself in a box. But it's a box that you don't even know that you're aware that you're in until you come up out of that box. So, there's a lot of funny things that happen on the journey, a lot of different paradoxes, and, it's kind of fun. It gets to a point where it just becomes an exploration, something that you really want to get to know, something that you really just, something that you just really are curious about after so long. And naturally, you will make different choices, and you'll make different choices because you'll create space within yourself to see how your patterns are, to see the narrative and the replays within your mind, and the beliefs and the false assumptions that you have. And you'll know that, okay, that's what's kind of keeping me locked into these cycles, is that I've been kind of telling myself these false narratives about myself, and I believe it, and therefore I look around in the world for things to reinforce that, and I live by that. So if we start changing that, to the divine, then, and not impose any assumptions or expectations as to what that is, but just declaring that, and declaring yourself as perfection and as the divine, then you will start to see, and of course, along with, other spiritual practices and tools that you may use along the way to help create space within yourself to notice, just to be the noticer. And then you will see, things will slow down a little bit within you. But I just wanted to share this little piece with you guys, and I hope you're all having a beautiful day and a beautiful life, and I love you guys so much. Bye.